This is an Ash White podcast coming to you from the Milne Road Studios, Redwood Park in Adelaide, Australia. Yeah.
Love this music.
It does really offer a little bit, doesn't it?
Oh.
Get you in the vibe.
Oh. Oh.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
That really hits the spot, doesn't it?
Oh. Gets you just up and about.
Boom, 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 boom. Hey, Mr. Shaun Evans, welcome to the Milne Road Studio.
Good morning, Ash. How are you?
I'm good, man. You had a good night last night?
Great night, farewelling Michaela Payne. What a bloody legend she is, that girl. Great to go down the pub last night, and she's jetting off today, obviously. So great to go down and have a few beers and celebrate her. It was great.
She's one of the original Expendables as well.
Yes.
She's a good girl.
Yeah, and even Big Gav came along for a couple of beers, so that was good to see him there as well.
It's good to see Gav have a few beers. Yeah, it's always hard to lose a child overseas for a little while. And
yeah, he
sort of
liked it though last night. It looked like he was up and about. So
that's good. Always a couple of frothies helps break the ice a bit, doesn't it?
Hadn't ever seen him have beers before, so it was good to see him relaxing.
Doesn't have a lot, does he?
No, it was good to see him relaxing and enjoying it. And Michaela obviously a legend, so good to have the crew there.
You wouldn't want to piss curator either, would you?
No, I've come close to getting him angry and getting him on the beers when I've done lines that haven't been quite straight. So I think everyone knows those stories, but finals where I haven't quite marked the lines straight. Gav loves that.
It was a good day up the club, a good afternoon, wasn't it? It was friendly. There were some good people up there, and Barb was behind the bar.
Yeah, Bob had dropped in from Reno, and he'd opened the bar, and he said that he wanted to do it as a special occasion, and that was what was in his mind. So, that was great for him as well. He felt good about it, and great people up there, just relaxed, nice and chilled, a few beers, bit of a laugh. It was good, really. Yeah.
I remember looking at the phone. It must have been about 5 o'clock, and I had 2 missed calls from the neighbour, and I thought, oh no, what's going on? Mandy's in Sydney to watch the power in the west there today. So I thought, no one's home. God, I hope the studio's not burning down. And, next thing I get this call saying, hey, why'd you get home? There's a tree falling down out the front.
Yeah.
So that was a fairly large limb that's taken out the fence that obliterated the gate. There used to be a picket fence, and there were pickets everywhere. It looked like 911.
Well, we were wondering how you were going to get around that, but apparently you've chopped it all down now.
Yeah, got it done this morning. Got up early,
Yeah.
got the chainsaw out, and everyone probably hated me around 9 o'clock this morning. But it's all clean and tidy now.
Well, 9's better than 3:30 a.m, isn't it?
No, that's so we ended up at the Grenfell Tavern after the club.
Yeah.
Glenn Campbell was up there.
Yeah, Glenn rocked up from Tea Tree Gully, footy club day, and wasn't too happy with the result, but Glenn was in a good mood, had a few beers, so it was good to see him up there.
There was a few footy players from Golden Grove, wasn't there, up there?
Yeah, both clubs. So that tavern sponsors Gullies and Groves.
Okay.
So that's why they both came back, because there was some money on the line and free beers on it. So
Beautiful.
I think that's why they came back. I spoke to a few people from both teams, so yeah, it was good. Filled out Michaela's farewell, didn't they? So,
yeah, it was good. Yeah, it was good. There was lots of people up there. It's always fun. You don't sort of get up the pub enough, do you, really?
No, I hadn't done it for a while, and I said to a few of the footy players, I'm glad you've come along for our mate's farewell, that both clubs could come back and celebrate Michaela's farewell. Anyway. But they ended up giving her a wristband as well.
That's fantastic.
So,
that would have helped a lot.
Yeah, well, they got around her and said, nice young girl, she's farewelling, we'll help you out. So I think it was Golden Grove Footy Club gave her a wristband just so she could get free drinks all night. So that was good.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
And the Stingray was up there, old Petey?
Pete was in good form. Not sure late in the night he was, but Certainly early he was, and back at the club he was too. He was up and about, so it was good to see the
Yeah,
Stingray.
he's good. He gets a bit naughty these days, doesn't he? The early starts are catching up on him, I reckon.
Yeah, he's got a few feathers too at the moment, hasn't he?
He
He's
is.
probably in dire need of a haircut, but he was up and about last night, so it was good to see
He's
him.
got good plasma. I think that's why his hair grows so well.
And look, I mean, he's such a good-looking bloke, so you know.
And it was good to get up the club. I haven't been up there for a while. It's now the winter ball season.
Yeah,
And of course, it got washed out yesterday with the rain the night before.
yeah.
So, what's been going up the club there? I haven't been up there for a while.
Yeah, oh, look, plenty happening. Obviously, at the minute, winter ball's on. So we got Bob from Reno looking after that as well. So he's full on looking into that. I think they've got 10 teams up there at the moment for winter ball. So been up there a couple of times, lots of people. I think there's a Gawler team. So, yeah, that's pushing along. Obviously, in terms of the club, new season starting again in October. Last couple of years, we've gone down the path of being more of a younger group in our Div 1, 2, 3 squad. So last year was year one of that. So we'll see how that goes. Year two, obviously we got Reed going again. Reed Brown's our senior coach again, which is good. So yeah, lots of junior development. The club's in a really strong position in terms of what's coming through. You know, 15 ones winning the flag and 13 ones winning the flag, under 11s winning a flag. So yeah, we're absolutely going better than most clubs. So.
There were a lot more pennants hanging off the ceiling joists there, the premiership ones.
Yeah,
I reckon there was another 8 since I've been up there, so that's a good return.
Well, you know, I mean, it's something I'm proud of. We've got 8 in my 3 years, so you know, I think that's a good return, and it just shows that we're on the right path. I mean, we got 4 in the last season, so that was pretty big. So no other club sort of does that. So yeah, and financially the club's going quite well. So you know, from a club point of view overall, I think it's going quite strong at the moment. So it's just a matter of trying to push on and make hay while the sun shines, because the Dodgers have never been in this position before. So you know, that's going to be the trick. How do we make sure that it's going to continue?
Good stuff. No, it was good to come back. It's you forget when you're away how you used to find time to get up there, like.
Yeah, and you know, it's funny because the other day someone was up there. I was up at Winter Ball, and they said, "Oh, have you seen Ash or Pete?" And sort of Pete wandered down and had a beer or two with me, and that was great. And it's great just seeing people and having a chinwag and talking about some silly stuff and having a good time for an afternoon. And that's what the place should be, you know. Going up there and just enjoying life, because that's what it's going to be at the end of the day.
You need time out, don't you? You can't just be up all the time.
Yeah, I just
work gets pretty heavy.
Yeah, well, exactly. I reckon we all work so damn hard during the week that, you know, you should have the day where you wander up there and grab a few tins and have a bit of a chinwag.
Where you working these days? RAA?
RAA, yeah, RAA insurance. So in life, I just keep on moving on. Sorry, I shouldn't have said that, but that's. And by the way, people
membership number, please.
Phone line. Now, people keep asking me if I'm the B, but on the commercial, but no, I'm not. Yeah, look, it's been there a few months now. So Matty Burns from the club's down there as well, so it's great to see Matty wandering around the hallways as well. Really good organisation, good friendly people. So yeah, I'm really enjoying it, to be honest.
How long you been there?
Around about 4 months now. So yeah. A really good organisation, really good. I did actually work there some 12 years ago for 5 years, so it's a bit of a coming home.
Has Berner been there a while?
Berner, I think a year or two now. I think he left Westpac a couple of years ago. But yeah, he's put down there, and it's great just seeing him. Berner's such a ripper fella, and you know
he stands tall, doesn't he?
Oh, he does.
Good looking beast.
Good looking man, and just a ripper fella. So you know, when you see him sort of coming down the hallway, it's always good. It's like, oh great, you know, he's in today. So you know, it's good in that way as well.
Yes, we spend a bit of time there, don't we? God, golly gosh.
Yeah, it's
golly gosh.
Yeah, and even I was remarking to one of my colleagues during the week, like we had a pretty busy week this week, and it was like, it's only been 4 days, he said.
Yeah, you do forget on the 5 days. You think, God, it should only be Thursday.
I said to him, well, can't wait for next week then, you know. It's, you know, we all got to earn money, don't we? So,
I do, and I mention it very often, but I get in that shower when I wake up, because I've got no start time,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm still on piece rate after all these years.
Yeah.
You get paid per item.
Yeah.
So I like to get up in the morning, have breakfast, and sit down and look at all the overseas mountains and all the places I've been to. And,
Yeah.
places that I want to go, like Lauterbrunnen and, all the Swiss
Yeah,
Alps
yeah.
there. And I find myself that it's now starting to come about 10 minutes past 9 before I even get in the car, before I even hook the trailer up. And by the time I get to work, it's 9:30.
Yeah.
So I'm really, by the time you load up, you might have a dozen doors to put in the trailer.
Well, when we worked down at Mile End, occasionally we have to work down Mile End, RAA head office, and of course you've got to be up at 6:30 to make the hour journey down there and the hour home. By the you do that for a week, she ends up and pretty tiring by Friday night. So yeah, but look, it's as I said, they've now got me working out of Modbury as well, which is just only 6 minutes up the road, so that's all pretty easy. But
So you can move between both of them.
yeah, so they offer working out of Modbury because I'm out in the north, so that's been great. 6 minutes drive in the car to work and 6 minutes home. So
Sounds good to me.
yeah.
I think I'm into my my third million now, I reckon. I've been on the road since 1991.
I don't know how you do that.
I've had 2 days off sick.
Oh, really? Since 91?
Since 91.
Wow. So I finished school in 90.
And I reckon the second day I worked half of it because old Saney was yelling at me, "You get out there and you keep working, Whitey."
That was what it was like back in those days, isn't it? It's all
Yeah.
a bit softer these days, isn't it?
We should have been pilots, shouldn't we?
Yeah. Yeah, I would have loved to have been.
Do you know any pilots?
Yeah, well, my dad was
Oh.
leading into that. Yeah, he was a pilot for his whole life, basically, as an adult, and flew for Ansett, and at one point, I think was number 2 pilot in the country, behind some dude from Qantas. So he was quite high up over the years. But yeah, he was a pilot, and I always wanted to do it. And back in those days, you weren't allowed to wear glasses or contact lenses to be a pilot when I came through. So I did all the testing and all went well, and I was getting excited. And then came down to eyesight, and they said, "Oh no, you can't wear glasses or contact lenses." Where
What's that to do with?
well, apparently
Glare?
you just had to have eyes like an eagle. That was what
just sharp as
just sharp
2020.
as 2020. Yeah, and so for me, who'd followed my dad all my life, being a pilot, that was what I wanted to do. So yeah, that became a bit of a slap in the face. That because I thought, geez, my eyesight. And you think about now, how many pilots would have glasses and bloody contact lenses? This is what I was saying here. It's just a different world back then.
Now you're driving trains for a living. It's a bit different, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
So he was with Ansett for a long time then.
Yeah, and Airlines of South Australia as well.
The old T-Jet, wasn't it? Ansett
Yeah.
T-Jet. They used to be loud as hell too, when they used to fire them up there and then take the handbrake off, and off they would rumble. They would crackle like a
Such an amazing sound.
shuttle.
Such an amazing sound. And he also was in the Air Force. So he trained people how to fly in Mustangs
Yeah, righto.
back in the old days. So, in terms of an aviation person, you're probably not going to find too much better than that. Like he did it all, really. Air Force, Mustangs, airlines. So, yeah, his career was unbelievable and really well respected, when he passed a couple of years ago, his funeral was filled with pilots that had come from all around Australia, and that was just something I'd never considered. So, yeah, it was pretty cool. See a guy rock up and say, "Hi, I'm number 1 pilot for Jetstar. Your old man taught me, and I just had to come today."
Wow.
Those sort of things are pretty cool, to be honest. So, yeah.
It's got a pretty good thing about it, hasn't it? Like being a pilot, you're flying through the sky, and
Oh, yeah.
it's got a bit of a coolness about it.
Yeah, and that's
And
why I
they're all
wanted to
well
do it.
dressed, aren't they? And they're all neat with their suits and all their badges on there. And
Unlike the rest of us, but yeah, it's
I'm stoking the fire on the old train still, mate.
no. Well, it was one thing that I always admired about the way that he carried himself. That's the way he carried himself too. So as a guy, that he was always really well respected and carried himself well, but he'd come home in that uniform with his nav bags and everything. You'd just go, oh geez, man, that's what I want to be. Yeah.
I remember my old boss when I was with Stegbar Shower Screens all those years ago. His name was David Saint. And I reckon his wife may have been working down at Ansett as one of the first female baggage coordinators. Would that be right?
I think so, yeah. Look, I worked down the airport myself for Ansett for a period of time, and her name was Caroline from memory. I don't quote me on that, but I think it was Caroline, but we're talking 20, 30 years ago. But, yeah, she was really solid in the way she acted. You know, she's really sort of a little bit hard in a way, but I was talking to her one day and I said, you know, are you okay? You know, and how's life or whatever? And she just said to me, oh, look, the reason I'm hard, Shaun, is that I've had to fight and scrap to be the first female baggage handler. You know, I've had to come through hell to get here. So
She's a split tail. It is harder for them.
oh, and it wasn't until she said that I got her story. Then I was like, okay, well that's why you're a little bit hard edged. Is that you've had to fight and scrape every inch of your way. So I got a bit of respect for her out of that.
Absolutely. I've seen a few of the US Air Force girls
Yeah.
that are called split tails, and they don't get allocated any more water. You know, they menstruate, and you know they got to put water aside. They don't get any more water to drink than anybody else.
Yeah.
And I remember the stories of them that they would, you know, cycle that water out for the whole month. That by the time she come on, they had water for sanitary. You know.
Yeah.
And you think, as a bloke, you don't even think about that. All you got to do is piss and wipe your ass. That's it. We get it pretty easy.
Well, there was a toilet that they actually had to put a lady's logo on down there because it was all just men's toilets. And there was quite a few guys that used to get grumpy at the fact they had a woman's logo on the door. And I'm standing there going, well, hang on, she's got to piss somewhere, you know. We can't just have her piss out on the tarmac.
Yeah.
So it was crazy back then because that and we're talking in the 90s even, you know, so not that far back. But, and even with women's baseball, you still get your traditional guys around that just go, oh, bloody women playing baseball. Are you kidding? I'm not umpiring that, or I'm not, you know, whatever. Or do you see those bloody Sheilas are playing again? You know, it's to me, it's just so third world. It's funny.
We were lucky to go to I can't quite see it over there. When we went to New Zealand just recently, we went and saw the Aussies play the Black Caps in the cricket there. And
Hagley Oval, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah. So with their portaloos down the back there, because everyone sits in chairs, you know, it's just lawn. It's beautiful. It's like the old Adelaide Oval without any. And it was so fun.
Yeah.
To stand there with Mandy and, you know, and the Kiwis were killing us at that stage. I think there were 8 wickets dropped in that 4 hours that we were there.
Yeah.
But in their pisses over there, they've still got the conventional lid and pan, right? But then to the side, they have like a dick funnel.
Yeah.
So rather than the girls having to sit every time and drop their pants in the fucking piss from all the dribble dicks, right?
Yeah.
You walk in and park your dick in the left-hand side. They've actually got a funnel. So you're now diverting all that piss away from the feet because they're multi-purpose toilets now.
Yeah.
What a great idea. You know, you don't have to drop your nuggets in there. You can just have a piss, and it's got a nice little carry cup underneath it, you know. So the amount of piss, that's what I'm getting at. The amount of piss on the floor wasn't there. And I thought, wow, how good's that? Well, that's using your brain.
That's the Kiwis ahead of us, isn't it?
I reckon they're miles in front of us. I think they're just playing games.
Well, I hadn't never thought of that. But I mean, one of my eye-opening things ever, I'd never seen the loos on the ground. And when I went to Malaysia with my wife, we got to Kuala Lumpur. And I've gone into this toilet. It was dark and it was dirty. And they didn't have men's pods, so you just had all the toilets in the ground. I was like, hang on, what do I do? I'm not going to squat and sit on the ground. I'm sorry, I'm not doing that. So we're on a tour for the day, and I ended up waiting until we got back to the hotel because it just plays with your mind. You're like, I'm not going to sit on the bloody ground and go and do it, go to the toilet. So, yeah, must be, I don't know. I think women do have challenges. There's no doubt about that.
Oh, sure.
That come up.
8 times harder than for a fella.
And that's why I try to support our women's baseball as much as I do, because I can see that there's just challenges and they're always getting spoken about, but they need people to come forward and support it and be, champions of it to go, well, nah, these girls are pretty cool. Like, that they deserve just as much as any of the blokes do.
Sure, absolutely, yeah.
So,
And I think it gives a new demographic that you've got that. Instead of that man behaviour now, you pull your F's back a little bit and tidy up a little bit if there's females around. So
yep.
it has been a good tidy up for everybody. And it's a bit of fun to have a different sex around, rather than just male, man, tag each other all the time, put each other down, have some. You now got that sort of different culture there. That's it's just different. It's more fun, I think, rather than just the typical bloke behaviour, which can get fairly boring from time to time.
Look, one of the most fun years I've had in baseball, and I've been doing it since I was 4, but at T-ball level, but one of the most fun years I ever had, I coached the women a couple of seasons ago, and geez, that was good fun. I had a blast, and people were going, oh, you sure you want to do women's baseball? Oh, yeah, I suppose. I was thinking I might be Tom Hanks and, there's no crying in baseball or whatever, but we got into it and, oh, geez, I had a bloody blast. And they hadn't won many games before. And we made finals and there was a high around, and I could see in their faces as well the enjoyment they were bloody getting from it. So that meant a lot to me. My father had just passed at that point in time and it was like, well, what do I want to do with life? And no one was putting their hand up to coach the women, and I thought it was almost like he was sending me a signal, like, go and look after these women, go and help them. So I was doing it for a little bit of a personal reason, just to get something out of it that, I was doing something meaningful. But, geez, they had a great time, and we got on the cans a few nights and, a few stories that won't come to air, Ash, but geez, it was good fun. And I got a real pure thought about them after that. I thought, this is just great. This is awesome. So
I remember there were a couple of girls out playing for Goodwood in the men's league going back a few years ago.
Yeah.
And there were times where they ended up doing the splits to get back to first base, right? Almost the bonnets rubbing on the lawn, to get back.
Yeah.
And that'd just screw the bloke's brain
so
up for the rest.
Steady. Well, there was one girl at Goodwood who used to wear real short shorts instead of wearing baseball pants, and she'd slide in with her legs up in the air, and of course you'd drop the ball. You'd be standing there at second and shortstop trying to take the throw over or whatever, and she comes sliding with her legs up, and you go, oh, geez, hello. What's this sort of wearing in the head? But it's great to see him out there and doing it.
And you got a couple of girls yourself. You got Amelia and Ruby.
Yeah, love them a lot.
How old are they now, mate?
So Millie's 16, or she's got her 16th on the 30th of June. She was an end of EFS baby, as I call it. Was due in August and came in June. And not only that, because she was on the 30th of June, the baby bonus was $5,000 less. So if she'd come along one more day or on time, we would have been $5,000 the richer. So it was funny on the day she was getting extracted and they came in from Triple M and all the radio stations. We heard your baby's coming today. You're missing out on $5,000. What have you got anything to say about it? And it was like, well, no, I don't really want to talk about this. Can you leave, please? Because it was pretty cranky. But they were there. So I walked out to go and move the car at one point. There was 5 radio stations going, oh, can we talk about your daughter coming a day early, missing out on the $5,000? Well, no, you can't. Go away. So I come back in and saw Sarah, who was still waiting to have the baby, and I walked in. She said, what's all the kerfuffle outside? I said, there's 5 radio stations. You wouldn't believe this, because she's coming a few days early.
All over the $5,000.
Yeah. And I keep saying to Amelia, she cost us $5,000, so I'll take it out of her first pay.
So he said she's healthy, she's got her fingers and toes, and we're wrapped. Thank you.
Yeah, exactly. So no, look, and she's quite amazing. Both girls are at Kildare College, so great school, really good school. They're really supportive. Ruby's a real sported head. She's playing 3 lots of netball at the minute. She's 12, so she's into her netball and really, really good at it. And one thing I've always tried to do as well is just involve myself in their sport, because I know how important it is. So, for girls to be playing. So I've been the netball coach. I've been the netball manager. I've been on boards of the netball team.
Out.
So
you got a fairly loaded program, haven't you? Monday to Sunday.
Yeah, there's not much spare time.
That's why the podcast is on Sunday this week.
Yeah, well, yeah, well, fit him in. But no, look, it's busy, but I love it. I mean, the the thing I just
If
don't.
you're wanting, you will, mate. We
Yeah,
we did drop on that earlier, didn't we?
yeah, exactly. So yeah, I just love both of them, and I'd love supporting them in any way I can. And so I'm happy to do. I just want to see them happy and enjoying life, And um, Sarah and I have been together for 20 years. We've had quite a special 20 years, and it's all been part of it with them. And we've tried to support them as much as we can. And I guess to Sarah's credit, in a way, she's allowed me to be baseball president and missing for so many days, and all those sort of things as well, or playing or netball coaching as well. She's been really supportive of me being out there and doing things, even though I'm not got to introduce myself every Sunday night when I come home.
Yeah, look, it's at times really a thankless task, isn't it? Like it's, you do take knocks, you do get probably some good feedback, but generally, you wear your heart on your sleeve, and you just you keep turning up for battle, and you get another shot in the arm, and you get up and brush yourself off and go forward again, and
Yeah,
it's for the people. It's a big commitment. I know, just even being a coach for Div 5 for a couple of years, how much time that took up most nights of the week, let alone
yeah,
later in the week, and that was only for one team.
yeah,
So tip
and
my cap. I know there's a lot that goes into it, and as I said, you very rarely get thanked very much for your time. It's almost that you're the big pillow that's going to just absorb all those knocks. And there's times where you think, "Fuck this! I just want to walk away from this. This, what's the point? You can take so much for so long, and think, fuck, I can do so many more things."
yeah, absolutely. Look, you're right in the fact that it is thankless in a lot of ways. Like not a lot of people say thank you, but um, when they do, it's even better because you're sort of, oh, okay, so I have had an impact, because that's what you're there for, is to have an impact and just make it better for everyone. So if you're not doing that, and you can see everyone's having a shit time, no one's thanking you, well then what are you doing it for? There's some pretty hard days. Yeah, I've been yelled and screamed at. Even on day one when I started 3 years ago, I met a family up there. I won't say any names, but they yelled and screamed at me for 3 hours, and that was day one of me ever doing it. And I thought, geez, if this is what it is, I'm off fishing. But so yeah, I've had run-ins with people over the last 4 years, and it's been tough. There's no doubt. But I don't know. You see like you were saying earlier, the flags hanging up on the banisters at the end of the day, and so many people enjoying that and going, yeah, we're 4 times premiers on the weekend. How bloody good are we?
I can't also see another 15 people lining up to do the job.
Well, yeah,
You know what I mean? So
yeah,
it's all right to knock if you're not got a system that's better. Like, it doesn't matter what it is in life, if you're going to knock something and you're not contributing yourself, fuck off. You don't need to knock for knock's sake. If you've got a better way, hey, show it. No worries. Everyone's happy to listen.
yeah, yeah.
But if someone's prepared to put their time away from their family for the benefit of everybody, once again, tip your cap.
Yeah.
You're really putting yourself at risk for everybody else's entertainment in regards to their fun up there.
Oh, absolutely, and that's what I keep saying to people recently. First year, people would yell and scream, and I'd be, oh, I'm really sorry, oh, gee, we'll do better. But coming into the fourth season, you're sort of almost like, well, hang on, I'm a volunteer here, and, at the end of the day, if you think things are not right, how are we going to fix it? What's your solution? And usually that catches people. They go, I don't know, yeah, that's your job. Well, I'm now at a point where I'm going, well, no, you got to tell me how it's got to be fixed, or it ain't getting fixed. Because, I guess I've learned that over the last 3 seasons is that you can't please everyone, Ash, and
You can't please them all, no.
and so it's just about trying to make the majority happy and make it a good place. And I think that's where I'm getting to at the moment, is that, you just sort of think, well, geez, I've been yelled at again. I think I might go fishing this time. But it's you still remember the good times and what's going forward, and how the club's going forward, and you see those smiles on the kids, like Ashton Diplock going over to bloody play for Team Australia.
That was good, wasn't it? We did interview
Oh,
him. He was good on the radio here. Was
yeah.
excellent.
Yeah, he's an awesome kid and an awesome family. And so, therefore, you sort of go, this is why I'm here today. This is why I'm doing this. For a couple of Sheilas that want to have their skirt fall over their head and get angry, well, perhaps, or, whatever, you sort of go, well, okay, sure. But you just got to keep reminding yourself, no, I'm a volunteer. So if they yell, I'm not taking it anymore in that regard. I'm going to just say, well, come up with a solution.
Did you play summer ball again last season?
No.
So you actively didn't play last year?
Actively didn't play only because I played in the Masters tournament down down at Glenelg. Played for Kenzie only because I had some mates said come back and finish off with us. And
Sure.
So that'd be nice. So
Oh, it's good to have some time to play baseball with you. We had a season together, which was pretty good.
yeah, except for that last round down at Henley and Grange.
We always seem to get hurt down there. Doesn't matter who or what or whatever's pitching. But
I've compared it to this first scene of Saving Private Ryan, to be honest. But it was they had every name that had ever played for Team Australia or whatever, and there was you, me, and Pete, and a couple of others trying to hold it together. But we did lose by less than what Glenelg did in the grand final against them. So
we still beat West Torrens that year, and we still beat Adelaide. And the year before, I remember the West Torrens people laughing at me. I think I got struck out 3 times. I thought, you fucking bastards, you're sitting here with your $10 million bloody grandstand behind us, and you laugh and sniggering at me that you've got me struck out 3 times.
And West Torrens has always been hideous at you. They sort of come at anyone down there, and Henley's the same. I remember
Rutland Avenue.
I remember getting struck out walking off against Henley in that game, and some bloke yelled out because I was pitching, and he's got, you can't throw him, you can't hit him. What can you do? So I thought, geez, what a friendly group of people, But look, that was a great day actually, because I think that was the farewell for you and Pete, and we did have a good day on the cans after, as I remember. But it was sort of not the way we would have liked to have seen you two blokes go out. But
never mind.
Yeah.
I said to Pete, how do you think about this retirement thing? And he said, I've never retired anything in my life.
Yeah.
And I remember might have been one year at Bathurst that I said, I think this is it, Pete. And I said, I think I've done my journey. I've come back the second time.
Yeah.
Because the first time I met Mandy when she was only 15.
Yeah.
And then by the time that baseball, and I was still at Woodville back then.
Yep.
And we just went surfing, didn't have any start or finish times. And I'm that type of person, when I was employed for those 4 years back in 1985.
Yeah.
I was late 20 minutes every day, and the boss would say, Ash, come into the office, please. You're late again. You won't be late tomorrow.
But now we're going to waste another 20 minutes while you tell me off. I'm going to be out there working.
No, boss. The next day I'm late again. Ash, come into the office. Can you? You're late again. What's the reason today? Oh, I won't be late tomorrow.
Yeah.
So I've always been free like that. I've always struggled. I've always said it's like putting a white pointer in a pool. You'll kill it. It wants to roam the oceans. I don't want fucking rules. I've spent my whole life against rules,
And one of the greatest things that I've had through baseball was I got to play Masters, finish off my career. That was what I wanted to do. Rounded it off from where it all sort of started in a way. And Liv Trembar took one of the best photos that I've ever had in my life, where she knew Dad's history of flying, and she's got a picture of me on the baseball mound with the plane landing at the airport at Glenelg behind me, coming over the top of me. And she knew what that would mean, sort of, because Dad had recently passed. It was sort of like, well, she was doing that as a special moment to say, here's me on the mound one last time, and, here's Dad coming in essentially over the top of me. So the flight, that picture, I can only ever thank her for that, because it was an amazing photo. And they're the minutes, they're the moments.
Isn't that a good diamond to play baseball and sit there? Not only the planes are taking on and off, above and around you, but you're sitting right behind the catcher, aren't you?
Yeah.
It's beautiful. You sit there and they always put jugs of beer on for everybody. And, it's I do like that ground. That's always been a good one?
Yeah, well, we during the Masters we ended up having to play the Dodgers, which was unfortunate because they were bloody loaded with every bloke that you've ever known. You know, Nighty and Burnsy and all these top notch players and whatnot, and Greg Rogers, the big one Ford F-150. So so there I was having to pitch against these guys, which was bloody just incredible, scary. But on the last day we were due to play them again, and then someone said, "Well, we play the morning game. We got the Dodgers in the afternoon. What do we do?" I think we go down the beach and have a coffee and a hot dog. And I said to the bloke at the bar, I said, "I heard there's Team Jugs going," and he laughed and he said, "Well, we can load you up if you want before the late game." He said, "What chance are you of beating them?" And I said, "Absolutely bloody slim and nothing." So 6 of us sat there for the whole second game, watching in that patio area that you're talking about. Wonderful, sun was shining. Watching the second game, 2 teams, I don't know who they were, and we got absolutely bloody pickled. And it was the ones that weren't driving, you see. So we just thought, oh, bugger it, we'll just get hammered. So we got hammered. And I walked down and my coach says to me, "Oh, you're pitching against them, against the Dodgers, you see." And I thought, oh, I don't care. I'm drunk as anything. I don't really care, whatever. So Paul Knight's hit me for a home run, and he's described it in essence several times since, having a bit of a laugh. But I can't even remember it. It was a bit of a shocker, unfortunately. But it was like a case of, well, we might as well just enjoy ourselves, with bloody Masters. We're not going to beat them. Why not have a bit of fun?
Paul Knight's a wonderful fella, isn't he?
A lot of respect for him.
I know that last deployment when he went off to do his duty again before he retired there. But he's a good bloke. We've had all the Air Force guys here, bar last year and the year before because I was on a boat cruise. But that Anzac spirit and just have the defence people here. We put drinks on for those guys all day. They're only here for a couple of hours, but
Yeah.
to hear their stories and to honour those guys with whatever beer or food they want.
Some of us stay a bit longer than that, but
It's always a long day. It's always 8 before 8 up the RSL there. It's a good day.
Oh no, it's a ripper day that you put on, and the thing that I've always respected about yourself is that respect of our armed services and those that have given. And Nighty comes along, and he came a couple of years ago and couldn't stay long, but it was great to just see him and have a quick beer with him. And I'm all about that respect to anyone that's given for our country. And Nighty's just such a wonderful fella too that it's great to see him here. And the day you put on is quite incredible, to be honest. I wish more people could see it, but the camaraderie and the get together is the true spirit of the day, and I think that's what you bring to it.
It is the Anzac, and it does burn very, very strong for me. It's mateship. I am a bloke's bloke. I do like mates. I do like, especially not only just the camaraderie, but making sure that those mates, we've lost a close buddy. We've lost Scotty in the last 12 months, and that one got through the gates. I don't know how. I still sit here. Tell you a funny story. The other night I was out here in the dark. Might have been 8 or 9 o'clock. It was pretty rainy and wet and windy, and the power went off. And I've got this little exit green light up the top here. This one glows when the lights go off.
Yep.
And I said, "Fucking hell, Scotty, if that's you that's turned the lights off, turn them back on." Bang, instantly the lights come back on.
So he was doing it. He was doing it.
I said, "Stop fucking around with the power, would you?"
Well, it probably is him, to be honest with you, playing games on you. Look, he was a wonderful fella as well, and that was that's been probably one of the saddest moments that I've had in my presidency tenure. When that happened, horrible.
Terrible.
Absolutely horrible. And Scotty, you just wish you could have got to him to say, anyone could have got to him to say stop, whoever that might be. Just wish that could have happened. Unfortunately not. Wonderful fella, great with the kids, really great, funny bloke to hang around. I did ask him for some money in sponsorship a couple of years ago. He was talking about, I was down at South and we were talking about sponsorship, and he said, he knew someone, Autobarn or something, and he said, "I know the owner of Autobarn and a couple of OTRs." And I said, "Oh, geez, you have to help us out with sponsorship." And as flat as a tack, he took a sip of his red tin and he turned around and he said, Shawnee,
Fuck off.
He goes, fuck off. I'd give you the money, but I don't like any of you. And so,
He liked Roger Prime.
yeah, I know, he loved Roger Prime. Yeah, absolutely. The rest of us, I'm not sure. But he turned around and he said, fuck off. If I liked any of you, I'd give you the money. But he said, no, you can't have it. And that was, I think that was only like a few weeks before he passed, sadly. But we were having a laugh about that on the hill out at South. And we're having a joke for a couple of hours with him and a couple of red tins. And geez, it was great. And you see people like that in life and you just think, geez, it's just so sad. And I just wish someone had got to him,
Yeah.
And the one thing I will say, though, is that the way the club reacted, I was proud of, because the club came together really strong. And
even the great Glenn Campbell said, how do we miss that one? Whitey, how do we miss that one? What didn't we do? And I said to Glenn at that time, when we went up the club that night, and I said, mate, it was only just after Australia Day. It was I could see that he'd seen a message, because I hadn't seen him for a month because we hadn't done a podcast over Christmas. We'd done a couple of phone podcasts that the missing tapes or whatever they were called back then. Yeah. But I don't know how that one got through.
Do you ever see any of them though?
I thought he would have come down my drive and shot me with a pistol before he took himself out. But
the funny thing that I think of is that the first moment I was told, it was like, oh my God, because there was a match on that night. It was a Division 1 game. And we had hung around and we'd been competitive that night, so spirits were quite high. And then when we found out, it was, and I just saw people crying, and I came up the hill and I said to Rob Walsh, like, what's going on? And Rob was quite emotional. And Rob's not an emotional guy, as you know. He's solid with his emotions, and so I'm thinking, hang on, this is all a bit weird. So I said, what's going on? So he pulled me to the shed, sort of thing, and told me, and I just, the first person I thought about was you. Because I know how close you were with him and your podcast and doing all that great work and everything. And first thing I thought of was, oh shit, Ash. And I know it's funny, but that's just where your mind goes to.
I was working away too. I'd been over at Wallaroo. And I'd only got back. It was 6:05, and the phone went, and I thought, fuck me, I've just sat down. I said, g'day, Mandy. And I have my brother here because he was coming back with me as well. And I didn't answer it. It had just rung. I just sat down.
Yep.
And then it's going bing, bing. And I thought, fuck me.
Yeah.
This is like 3 or 4 bings in a matter of a minute. And I've looked at it, and one was Joe Balzan and one was Peter Remfrey. And then Joe would text through, have you seen Scotty lately? And I thought, oh, I don't know. And then Pete rang again. And I went, oh, Pete, how you going, dude? He said, oh, Whitey, there was shit going on. I said, oh, I've just got back. I've just sat down at the table. I've just said g'day to Mandy. I haven't seen her for 3 days. What's going on? And he said, oh, Scotty's gone. I'll be at your place in a minute. So I said, okay.
How do you take that
I don't even know how to package that up yet. I'm still in work, mate. I've just got my dirty boots on still on Mandy's floor. And I've looked at Mandy, I've looked at my brother, and I said, I just got to go outside for a minute. I have an overload of information all at once. I've just driven back 2 hours in the car. I've got a red can in my hand. Now my mate's dead, and I'm thinking, fuck me, I need to just go outside. And I'd gone outside, and I sat there and thought, fuck me, what? And then DR had fucking also come straight through and said, Whitey, are you all right? And I'm going, oh, man, I really don't know how to package all this up at the minute. It's too much at once. And I think I said to DR, I feel cold.
Yeah.
And I don't have any emotion. I really can't even package it yet. It's just somebody's just given me 3 words that I understand as somebody's died, and that's it. I can't deal with it at the minute. It's just too great to package up.
I thought of you, and you know, usually when something happens when you're the president, you can think of, okay, this is what we need to do. That was the one night when I knew everyone would be looking at me because there was hundreds of people up there for an A-grade game. People are going to be looking at me. What do we do? I don't know. I was cold myself. I'm thinking, well, hang on. I'm the one person here that's got to make decisions and get on and sort of work out what's going on. But I was still stunned as well. I'm standing on the hill next to Rob behind the shed going, what? I don't even understand this. What do you mean?
Yeah.
What? Sorry, I don't. Can you explain this to me? Can we just run over it?
Yep.
And then, of course, you get all the stories where, you know, people come along and they're like, oh, you know, it's because of this and that, and he's taken his life, or then he was in a car accident. You get all these different versions. And so I'm standing there with everyone running up to me, with me trying to process it. Like, what do we do? How do we help everyone here? And then I was saying, I've got to go and ring Ash. But the problem was that I couldn't ring you because there's so many people coming up to me going, well, what are we going to do? So it came back to just go minute by minute. Okay, A grade's finished. They're all in the change rooms bawling their eyes out. This is a disaster. You know, like, what do we do next? Rob was really good. He went and grabbed him and got him into a bunch. Okay, what do we do? Where's Lisa? How's Lisa? You know, that was the next thing because I knew she was there that night. So it just became more, okay, who are the most important people that we need to look after right now? And that's Lisa and Geordie. So what do we do for them? Playing group was great because they got around Geordie. Rob was great. Then they all came back in, and I remember someone saying, well, they got to eat because they've just finished, you know, but we shut the canteen down, and someone said, well, what are they going to eat? They've just been playing for a couple of hours. And I said, let's just get pizza. Get pizzas from, I don't care what it costs the club, you know.
Sure, great call.
People said, get money in, get them money off them. I said, have you seen the devastation? Like, you can't ask for money tonight. This is a no-go.
Just let the club make a decision and get it done.
We're bloody financial. Let's just get on with this. And Rob came to me and he said, are you sure? You know, do you need to run it past committee people? And I said, look, I probably should, but tonight we're not doing that. We're just going pizza. So Rob said, I can order them.
Good strength. Good. That's good. I like that.
So Rob said, I can go down and pick them up. And I said, look, I'll come with you. So out of that I was still stunned and shaking on the inside, but it just became, you've just got to get on and make sure this is right. And so I think Lisa really appreciated by the end of the night, you know, the boys had all had pizza, they stuck around for hours, they had drinks, and we even gave them a few soft drinks and things like that just to keep them there. And so I think the club did really well that night, and Lisa's parents and Lisa came up and thanked us after, which was lovely. She sent an email, so I think we got that right. The next week, though, the strength of the club to me was enormous because it was people ringing each other, calling in on each other's homes, you know, just being around each other. And training night, everyone stayed extra night, you know, that night. So the club really pushed forward in a way that I was quite proud of because it could have crumbled at that point in time. And the Saturday when we went and played that following Saturday, you could expect them to lose 58-0. Right? Someone they knew and loved had passed away that week. You could expect them to go out and lose 58-0 and you could have forgiven them for it. But I think we won 2 of the 3 grades that day, and the A grade lost narrowly. But the spirit and the camaraderie that I think we showed that weekend was like, we're not dead. You know, we've had a tragedy, but we're not dead. And they all said, let's do it for Scotty. And I thought
that's good. That's good.
That was the other part. And Geordie came onto pitch, I think, in the Div 2s. They put him on at the end of the Div 2 game. So there was this kid, and he showed enormous strength. He came on at the end of the game. Again, you could forgive him for not even being there. And he came on and pitched the end of the Div 2 game. And I thought, wow, these kids have got strength.
Yeah.
Gee, they got strength.
The human spirit is very strong, isn't it? You know,
yeah.
You know, we're going to go there in a minute in regards to your grandpa. I believe he was in World War II in Greece, in Crete.
Yes, correct.
Tell his story. That's a good one.
I know you like this story because of what we've been talking about, Anzacs and soldiers. And
I'll be the first on the field, and I'll be the last to leave.
Well, I think that happened at Henling Range, but anyway, and I think we're in the field the whole time. But anyway, no, look, he was in World War Two. Took off with his brother from Norwood. They lived in Norwood. Took off for World War Two. Day one, Ash. He's in the trenches. They're fighting. They're fighting away, shooting at the shooting away. His brother gets shot through the forehead, laying next to him, and dies
Oh, God.
next to him.
Day one.
Day one. I don't know about you, but I'm not sure how I'd go after that. So he then goes on and fights for another 5 years, coming back past Japan on the way back to take on the Japs before coming back in. Now, we talk about, it's wet today and I've got to go to work, and you got to put it in perspective. And I always keep thinking about his example of, not sure having to go to work today at 6 a.m. is as bad as laying next to my brother who's just been
How's
shot.
the mental strength also to deal not only with your brother dead,
Yeah.
but to then go on and fight for another 5 years,
Oh,
still with the thought probably daily that you're probably next.
well, yeah. And the only thing he ever said to me about it, he never wanted to talk about it because he saw some gruesome things. And my understanding is that he took out several Japanese in Japan hand to hand, is one thing
Yeah,
I've
right.
heard. So with a bayonet, just taking on the Japs with a bayonet because he'd run out of bullets. I stand there and hear that as well, and you go,
Fuck.
I've got to go to RAA today at 7 o'clock, and it's a bit early on a Monday, So I think that's where I always get to with that perspective. And whenever we got issues at the club, I think, someone's yelling at me today. Well, geez, when you think back about poor old Burton Grove, what he went through. I always do think about that, to be honest. But one funny story though, I've got to tell you this. He was in Paris. They were coming out of Europe. And my nana always hated his tattoo. He got it put on his forearm. And it was a frog with a lady's legs and hair on the top of it. So on the way back, he liked to drink because who wouldn't after all that, So he gets back to Europe and he met up with this French lady, Edwina or something, and she said, "Oh, I love you," and and he got on the grog, and yeah, exactly, yes, yeah, and went out for a croissant or two, and went out there, Reno, yeah. So he,
Your pastry is fairly greasy, baby.
ladies have said that to me, by the way. But anyway, so so he gets back to France and he's having a great time. He's on the camp.
Good one, Shaun.
Yeah. So he has they haven't, by the way. So they're on the cans having a great time. He gets a tattoo on his forearm of this frog with the long hair and lady's legs. My nana hated that because her name was underneath it. But apparently he spent 4 days in France with his Sheila while he was drinking and having a good time with this lady. And we as kids always used to say, "Papa, what's up with the frog on your arm? What's the frog on your arm?" Oh, I can't talk to that. Nana's here. Nana's here. So, yeah, okay. Anyway, he eventually told me down in the shed.
Prepare for landing.
Yes. Speaking of the Japs, we're coming over the top. So, yeah, no, so he always said to me, "I can't tell you because Nana's around." So he took me out in his shed one day where he used to work and do woodwork and metalwork, and he took me out there and he said, "Oh, all right, so this is what it is." And he told me. And I said to him, but why is she worried about that, given what you had to go through? Let me tell you, mate. Don't ever get a tattoo, even after you've been through a war, with another woman's name on it. And I think that's why when I got my tattoo, I got Japanese letters on my left shoulder. And someone said, "Well, why did you get in Japanese?" I said, "Oh, it's named after Sarah." And someone said, "Well, why didn't you just have Sarah written on your shoulder?" I said, "Well, if she ever leaves me, it's the other Sheila, next Sheila's name. I'm not stupid enough to get it in English in case she ever leaves me." So, but no, he was an amazing fella, and his story is just absolutely incredible. And I've got it in book form at home with all his medals still. And so that's why I'm really big on Anzac Day, and that's why I appreciate what you do, because you and I sort of had that same feel about it,
It's really, to me, the most special day of the year. It's we were on a boat in Alaska, and an American did the speech and did the honouring of the Anzacs on the boat.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, to hear it come sort of from an American was a bit strange because the accent was there.
Wasn't Bob, was it?
But but they did it very ethically. It was very good, and there was a lot of Aussies on the boat. There were heaps there.
Yeah.
So there would have been, I think, probably 200 people at this Anzac celebration, if you like,
Yeah.
on the boat, and it was excellent.
Yep.
And then we all run off to the bars and started talking soldier stories and all that sort of gear with the Anzacs, with the New Zealander guys, and it's really good. But it's let them not grow old is just rings in my ear every day, and I think
absolutely
leave them young forever. They should be young forever.
He was a terrible smoker, and so he got his lungs removed and whatever, and so he couldn't breathe properly and whatever. And he used to love his Southwarks. He used to hammer his Southwark, and then he used to hate it. But I thought, geez, let the guy do whatever he wants.
I remember
I could not care less what
No,
he
that's
does.
right.
I still come back to that day one. If he wants to drink Southwark by the litre and have a couple of cigarettes,
Good on him.
bloody hell! And that's why I just like I still tear up when I hear the last post.
As soon as I hear the drum
Yeah,
and they start marching down the road coming into the area,
yeah.
every year you sit there and you go,
Oh, I've gone back to playing footy for the first time for 20 years or so.
Masters.
Yeah. Over 35. Why the hell I'm doing that, I don't know. But it's at Tea Tree Gully.
Just scraped in.
Yeah, yes, yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm only 35.
Me too.
Oh God, can't even get up and walk these days. But we, no, I've gone back to play that. They're a bit of a mental health type helping group as well. So it's really been great to sort of just have a group of guys you can have a beer with and whatever. But we ended up playing on Anzac Day, Sunday was my first game, and we played at Athelston, and they did the full ceremony and national anthem. So there we are. I'm crying tears run down my face like a 5-year-old when the last post was played, because you're out in the middle of the oval, you're arm in arm. And I'd never had that experience of being in a sporting fixture where that had got played, So it's amazing. That just took me to another level of emotion with it. It was like, Jesus. And he was always a Westies man, my grandpa. So we're in the Tea Tree Gully colours, which of course bloody red and black. So you look down the red and black and it just ran through my head, and I was like a little 4-year-old girl. I was losing it.
Yeah, no, it's a real emotion too. If you could bottle that stuff, it's a bit like winning grand finals. If you could bottle that stuff, part of the female anatomy. If you could bottle that stuff and bring it out on demand.
I'm still losing. I'm still learning, but or losing as well, I suppose, but still learning. But in any of that, but look, it's the last post for me, man. Just gets me. And this year was like, shit. How do I deal with this? Like, why am I crying?
It's good. It's good.
Got teammates looking at me going, what the hell's what's this bloke? Is he special needs, or is he, what is he, why is he bawling? But yeah.
My daughter used to sing at school, and I could never go there because I'd get too emotional to hear her sing.
Yeah, yeah.
And then one day she had to do, for year 12, she had to go and sing in a pub.
Yep.
So, of course, we go up the Golden Grove Tavern there, the new one.
Yeah,
Up the top there, and of course she's singing away in the in the hotel there, and I'm juicing up like a pig, it's But I even to see the voice and all that, there was a Pommy Bird on the other day that won it in the UK, or I think it was in the UK, and she sang whatever the song was, and she hadn't sung it for 24 years.
Oh man.
And boy, oh boy, like Mandy's sitting here with me, and I'm just milking, so emotional, with the and to see the joy, after the she got the gold, she won the whole thing, so she was the martyr. But to see the emotion of this young girl's face, she's only 26 or 28. What do you know at 28?
Well, I mean, even this year when we let Geordie pitch out the first pitch for the game after Scotty had passed, all of a sudden I just got this overwhelming feeling of hay fever. seeing what the club had put forward for him to do for his dad, and seeing the others all run up and grab around him, and I was out in the middle standing next to him as I do when the ceremonial pictures are on, and I got a bad hay fever, man. I had to disappear behind the shed because I was getting bad hay fever. It's just, but those moments are so good though, aren't they?
They are. They're so real, and that's that human side that you see.
Yeah.
And when it's that overwhelming that you tear up,
Yeah.
and you can't even get a word out. I remember daughter Caitlin was in Boston, and she'd gone to the big green wall, you know, the baseball stadium.
Oh
there.
yeah, Boston. Yeah, yeah.
And I said, when you're there, ring me, can you? So of course she's rang, you know, come through the messenger phone, you know, Dad, I'm in Boston. Well, I'm standing here, you know, outside the baseball stadium, and I've stopped. I couldn't talk. I'd choked up.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she said, "Are you there, Dad?" And I said, "Yes, I'm there. I'll talk to you in a minute." You know,
Yeah.
I'm just sucking in the moment, you know. And I was at work in the car, you know, and I'd sort of, I always left the door open. Luckily, she never went in there. She didn't actually see a game.
Right. Yeah.
And Marty Hall, that comes out and sees us every few years.
Yeah.
Last time I saw him over in Victoria there, he said, "Hey, Whitey, when you're ready, let me know, and we'll try to get you something up there in Boston so you can watch it with your daughter, you know."
Yeah. Yeah.
And I said, "Wouldn't that be cool?" You know, so we've left that door open as one of those bucket lists that's here.
Yeah.
That would be the best for me.
Well, in year 2000, my nan wasn't going too well. Pop had passed years ago, but whatever. She'd said to me, "Shaun, I've always wanted to get to London. That's been my life dream, that I've always get into London, but I'm too old and I'm too done now. I'll never get there." So I went to London and Europe with a mate, travelling around on a Kentucky tour. Of course, not getting up to any good, but that's all right. She said to me, "Can you phone me from London?" So I took her phone number and I rang her from London in Earl's Court in a bed and breakfast type thing. And I'm in the hallway, you know, she was madness going on, but whatever. But I thought, no, I'll ring her so I ring her 4:30 in the morning back here or something or whatever, and she picked it up and she knew. And I said to her, if I ring it could be early in the morning. Oh, love, I don't care. The minute you get to London, you ring me. So okay. So I ring her, and she's crying.
You're crying.
I was crying. So I'm not really sure there was much of a conversation that was had. And I never figured I got back and I said, "Oh, I remember ringing you from London, Nan." And she said, "Oh, one of the greatest moments of my life." She said, "But I think we both had a headache, love, because none of us could talk, you know." And I said, "Yeah, something like that." So she understood as well. But I've just also still carry that moment with me as well.
Well, it's a connection, isn't it? What a time in life, you know?
Yeah. She'd never got, and she said to me, "I'll give you $4, love, if you can get me a key ring." So I think I bought her back a key ring and a couple of other things, and it made her life. And I thought, geez, what a bloody...
Gran, I've got you a Beefeater pen, you know?
Yeah, exactly. It's from Big Dick Sporting Goods, but whatever. But you know, it still says London on it. But those are the moments, Ash. You know, and I think that's where we become as people. You know, those moments make you as a person. So ringing her was one of the greatest things I've ever done in my life. Hearing her pick up at 4:30 in the morning and then crying over it, you sort of go, wow.
With this UAP, UFO thing that Scotty and I were dealing with for the last couple of years, at the moment they're now looking at sort of a world group consortium now, rather than us be America and you're Russia and you're China. That as a collective group, it's us rather than just be individual countries.
Yeah.
We're human beings. Let's act like a group of human beings instead of fucking having all these wars about bullshit. Seriously, it's all about who's got what on what part of the land that you want.
Yeah.
Get the fuck on with it. Like, seriously. Why would you blow the planet up over... Everyone's got their countries. Fuck's sake, you don't need any more room. Look after what you got. This is what you're given. Start acting like a human being instead of whatever the fuck you are.
And not only that, it's becoming the way the world is, that it's every man for himself and every country for themselves. Used to be back in the day that people would work together, or you wouldn't like each other, but you'd get on with it or whatever. And I just keep thinking these days there's too many people that want to individualise stuff. I don't like Bob because he wears his hair to the side. I'm sorry, Bob, I didn't mean to mention you, but I don't like Fred.
Hey, I'm from Reno. Come on.
Everyone likes Reno. But no, it's like, and I love Bob, by the way. He doesn't normally work for our club. He's a soldier. But say Fred. So, I don't like Fred, so I'm going to make life difficult for him. Or what are we fighting for? And like you're saying with this, let's share our information. Can you imagine America puts a story together, we put a story together, and we find out there's bloody aliens out there.
I think it's coming. I don't think it's too far away.
But fighting each other and going, we're not going to tell you what we know. Why?
Yeah, look, it would be good to pull the borders out, wouldn't it, so that you haven't got the divisions with such hostility, with Israel and everything else, like, for goodness sake, we're human. Let's now, you've seen the devastation of war, from 19 to 38 million people from World War I to World War II. That's a lot of people. That's a ridiculous amount of people to kill.
Well, 60 million in World War II.
So what they were saying was, why don't they get the old guys? Because the young guys, the young Russians and the young Ukrainians,
Yep.
You can say they hate each other. They don't even know each other. They're just kids. Get the old fuck and the old fuck, go there with a pistol each, walk 16 steps, turn around and fire away. Whoever dies, end of story. No more hostility. You can't fight with that guy now. He doesn't exist. Don't kill all the little butterflies. Don't kill all the young boys and women that are out there fighting. It's a waste of life.
The thing I keep thinking, I watched a lot of World War II documentaries only because of Pop, and I still do to this day. I've watched some rippers recently, but got some ideas for the club after watching Hitler's documentary the other night. People may not be too keen on it, but no, just kidding for all the people out there. I'm not. But the thing that I keep going through my head is 60 million people died in one war. How do we keep still having them? Do you know what I mean? Like, how do we get to a point where countries still war? If we're still warring after that, and that was as bad as it was,
I don't reckon you can go again. I think you've drawn the line after World War II.
Oh, absolutely.
You've got all your ballistic stuff now. You've got all your nuclear shit.
Well,
you can't deploy that. That's really just I've got this and you've got that. All right, we're at a stand, because if we use that and that's the end anyway. What's the fucking point?
I don't get it.
You can't play baseball. You can't go away on trips.
Well, a bit like that day down Endling Grange. That was a bit like aliens landing. But anyway.
Oh, mate. Yeah.
Good fun, though. Good fun.
What about your baseball? When you were 18, like, you've played your life's been a lot of baseball.
Yeah.
When you were 18, you went to Seattle. You went to a college.
I was a high school team, college team. Yeah, so we went over there. There was a group of 10 of us went over from South Australia. So we went over with Ron Chandler and
Ronnie?
Yeah, old Ronnie and Kingy, old man Kingy. So it took us over. We went over with a whole group. There was a couple of people from Goodwood, a couple from Glenelg. I was out in Kensington and Guy, which in a group of East Torrens was probably not as popular, but that was all right. But we got on really well. Went to Seattle. First house we stayed in, we billeted out. There was myself and Glenn Simmons. We were in a house where there was travelling doctors as parents, so they were never there essentially. So as it turned out, it ended up being a bit of a frat house, because there was two young red-headed guys that were slightly older than us who were the guardians, and massive house, 3-story house. We shared a lake with 4 other families. So, life's pretty good for an 18-year-old Shaun heading over to America. Not only that, I get there on the first day and they said, "Can you drive?" And I said, "Well, yeah, of course I can." And I was on my L plates back here. And I said, "Of course I can drive." So the doctor takes me down. He goes, "All right, well, this is your car for the next 6 months." So It gives me a Honda Legend, which back in those days, Ash, 91, a Honda Legend was a pretty bloody sweet car, thanks very much.
Very quick.
Yeah, very quick, very flash. So I was like, hang on, how's this coming together? I've got a brand new Honda Legend, got every girl in the yearbook they're going through to come around and see the Aussies.
How many girls were there?
Well, the first night they said, go through the yearbook and circle the ones you want, we'll ring them. And I thought, hang on, this is nuts. Are you sure this is going to happen? Just do it. Okay, yeah, sure. So the first night we circled, I don't know, 20 Sheilas, and they all came around, luckily. And I thought, this is bananas. You know, parents aren't there. We've got a lake with ski boats, and they had their own batting cage and all this stuff down in the backyard. And then 20 girls rock up going, oh, hi, we've come to meet the Aussies. So life was pretty good back then. And the only requirement was that we went and trained on a Wednesday. So I'd shoot down in my car, which I only had my L plates back in Australia. So drive down to the batting tunnel when I probably shouldn't have. And then we had to play on a Saturday or a Sunday, sometimes 2 days. And then at the end of the period, we had our state team took on a team that hadn't won for 4 years. And that was pretty cool because there was all these parents, all these guys from around Adelaide, and they played the national anthem of America. We stood there, and then they played our anthem, and all the parents went and sat down, took off. And we're like, well, shit, that's a bit disrespectful. I remember John King saying, well, there's only one way you can go after that. You've got to shove it up them. So we beat them 1-0, and that was the first time they'd lost in 3 or 4 years. So,
Wow.
So that was pretty cool.
That's good.
That was pretty cool. And we just said to them after, you'd never sit down during another international bloody, anthem. That's just so. But that was pretty cool. And then went to San Francisco, which was a bit of a life change for the last month because...
What year was it in San?
91.
Yeah, right. It's going back.
Yeah, it's 91. Yeah, fair time ago. I've changed.
The cable car's still there. The trams and
I wonder if
the pier.
I wonder if Eleanor is from Two Doors now. But anyway, that's another story. But no, we
She might have put a few kegs on. That's all.
So have I. So I think we'd still be all right.
She'd still recognise your face.
Oh, I can't go down that path. But anyway,
Did you go over the San Francisco Bridge?
Yeah, we did that. And we went to Alcatraz.
Did you like Alcatraz?
Yeah, I didn't mind because I'm a history buff, so I like that side of it. Really.
That was a good tour, that one.
Oh yeah, and
we were there in recent times too, so they had all the headphones and that, and they were reacting, doing people stabbing people, and you had like the headset on, and you walk around and. What was that, Bobby? You're going to go, stabbing the knives, and, there were fights going on. And, they used to say with Alcatraz that when the wind blew from the city, what really annoyed the prisoners was listening to all the people having a good time in San Francisco.
Oh, no.
So when the wind blew, say, from the north or the west, that would fuck them right off, because they wanted to have the fun. They were locked up in the bars,
I didn't have that when we went there, but, gee, it was amazing. And I remember walking out, and a very similar experience down in Hobart with, is it Hobart? Or yeah, with the prison down there with the...
I haven't been there. I know that they're trying to... get some DNA from a few little animals down there that are similar to the Tasmanian tiger. And they're trying to reintroduce that thing. They're trying to start to spindle the DNA around. And
it'll be on a footy jumper in a couple of years' time.
Yeah. But, the Liathon, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. But I've also been to Tasmania down there to go down there. I cannot for the life of me off the top of my head remember what it's called down there. The...
Hobart?
Yeah, the prison or the...
oh, okay. Yeah, no, I don't know.
So anyway, we went down... The cafe, where they all... got shot. We went down there, and that was really eerie, right? It was... The whole thing was just super eerie because you'd walk around the tour and they go, well, this is where Brian was, shot. This is where Helen was shot. And you're sort of walking around just like... It was terribly eerie. And I had that sort of feeling with Alcatraz a bit walking through the cells because they go, well, this is where Ian hung himself in 19 whatever.
Yeah.
And you just go, I don't know, it was like pretty eerie. But I walked out of both of those experiences going, gee, they were fairly similar for being in other countries. Do you know what I mean? It was.
I remember doing a job for a lady at Flagstaff Hill, and I'd rocked up there on the Monday morning, and she wasn't there. So knock, knock, knock. You know, a few days later, she'd rung and said sorry. She was caught up in the shooting
Yeah.
in
Hobart.
Hobart.
Yeah.
So of course, the next Monday I rock up, and, knock on the door and get eye to eye with her, and I said, sorry about last week. I thought we had an appointment here, and she just burst into tears.
Yeah.
And I said, oh, you good, or what? And she said, oh, I was caught up in the shooting incident down there.
Wow.
So what the wording was from her was they thought it was a reenactment. So they didn't move. They just sat there and thought, oh, look, they're doing this skit.
Yeah,
They're doing
like
this
Ballarat
skit.
or something, where you go and see the shooting.
So they haven't moved. They've just sat there
yeah.
and thought, how wonderful is this? There's a stage play going on in the main street.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, and they're
head to the car park.
Yeah, and she was pretty screwed up. It was pretty amazing to see it.
Well, I did see a documentary a couple of years ago where the guy still has nightmares where he can't leave his house. He's a Victorian guy.
Wouldn't be surprised.
Was there on a holiday and just saw it all happen, and he can't leave his house now or whatever because he's just so mentally stuffed. And but I went there and I thought, geez, this is eerie. And I just wished on the tour they hadn't said this is where Helen took her last breath. You sort of sit there going, oh, I'd probably leave that out, wouldn't you?
You'd think so.
But amazing thing to do though. Like at the end of the day, yes, it was terrible in a way, but gee, I walked out going, gee, Port Arthur, that's what it is, isn't it?
Oh yeah. Yep.
So I walked out thinking, gee, I've done Port Arthur now and I've done Alcatraz, and as I'm saying, it was sort of really similar in the feel that you got at both places. One's on one end of the world, and the other one's on the other.
Well, you look at Van Diemen's Land. Think how hard that would have been in time.
Yeah.
Back in the late 18s and the early 1900s. How hard would that be? There's nothing below you barring Antarctica.
Yeah.
It'd be cold as hell.
Yep.
And you're stuck in a freaking prison in Tasmania. Like, couldn't be any worse, could it?
No, that's why I've always tried to stay on the right side of the law.
At least,
I don't know, prison's sort of...
at least San Francisco's balmy. It's fairly warm.
I don't know what Northfield would be like, but
Yeah, they've spent some money. It might be all right now.
Yeah, it might be better than being at OMASH, but I don't know. But it's I love those experiences though. Like my dad took me to America in '84. My first ever major league game, and I was 11.
That was the Olympics. No, I was there at the same time.
Okay, so we're at Yankee Stadium, first ever game, and he's like, "Whatever you do from your life on, you're a Yankees fan." Because they won. I think can't remember even who they played because I was only 11 or whatever. But he said to me, "You'll always be now a Yankees man. That's what it is." And so
there's only one team.
Oh, in there.
There's only one team.
Especially after last night with the with your mob, but not that Port are going much better, but yeah. So that was again another life experience where you go, this is what my old man said to me.
Your dad was a good man, wasn't he? He was a great man.
Oh yeah, and respected by all the kids in the area. Like if they had troubles in life, it was funny they never went to their own dad or whatever.
Was he a calm fella? Was he?
Yeah, extremely calm.
Yeah,
the world could be blowing up, and Jim would be going, "No, what we got to do is." Blah, 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 blah.
Very structured.
And he was very good with maths. I was hopeless at maths, and he said to me, "All right, we're going to do it with pocket money." I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "All right, I've given you $1.92, and I'm going to take off 76 cents of that. How much you take?" "Oh, $1.50, sort of thing." "Good, ripper. I'll give you $1.50. And you stand there going, "Hang on, why is he so pleased?" Oh, hang on, shit.
He's in front.
Yeah, he's in front. So, and then he'd do it with $10, or $10.
He said, "I can't believe this sperm come from me. What the fuck?"
Yeah, he used to go out and bang his head in the shed, I reckon. But he was so calm, and it wasn't yelling, "No, you're bloody wrong," or whatever. It was like, okay, $11.80 I'm giving you today, but I need about $4.10 of it back. Oh, you're going to give me $3.50, ripper, and he'd take off. But that's how he taught me maths. And I say to my daughters these days, like, maths is just so important, and he knew it. And he just did it so calmly. Like, there was days he must have walked in and wanted to smash his head against a wall, but he was almost, and if the world was, the thing that I respected about it was no matter what was happening in life. I remember my first car accident I was on my P's, right? I'm panicking. I've gone up back of someone, as you know, all kids do or whatever. And I'm thinking, oh, he's going to bloody rip shreds off me, you know. And he comes down in his ute and he gets out and he comes out and he goes, all right, so insurance, I've already rung them and already got their number. Can we just get their registration? Yep, no worries. And he walks over to the people. Right, we'll be in touch with you. You know, I've contacted my. How's he so bloody calm? I was like, oh shit, he just would it. No. So what we do is, and that's how he was. And I think that's why all the kids in the area respected him. Jim, oh, you know, this happened at school. Well, what you've got to do is, and he was always a thing, if you were going to go somewhere in a job or a sporting team, your negatives and your positives. Weigh them up, Shaun. Get a bit of paper out, put a line down the middle. What's good, what's bad, what wins. And so he was just also calm. And, you know, Mum would get angry while he's away flying and you wait till your father gets home, you know, sort of thing. And what have you done this time? You know, you wait till your father gets home. And kind of she had a hard job with trying to look after two of us for weeks or while he was away. But and she was fantastic, absolutely unbelievable mother. I had awesome parents. But Dad would come home and you'd be laying in bed going, oh, shit, Dad's home. Uh-oh. And you'd hear the nav bag go down the kitchen and you'd hear Mum giving a description of what's gone wrong. And you'd hear him coming towards the bedroom and you're absolutely shitting yourself. You're like, oh,
My man never yelled at me either. He was fairly calm. He was a designs draftsman. But he was very, you know, if you got in trouble, he'd be there alongside you, right or wrong. And he'd say, how can we do it better? He wouldn't fucking backhand me. He wouldn't hit me or, you know, do any of that sort of stuff.
My
He'd
dad
sit
was
down
the
and
same.
talk to you and say, what's your problem? You know, why do you keep putting the cigarettes in the fridge?
My
I said, so you can't fucking find them. Every time you find them, you nick them.
Also, they're cooler when I'm sucking on them. They're not so hot. Yeah. But Dad was the same. Like, you'd think, oh, he's home. Oh, bloody hell. Oh, God, here we go. And the bedroom door had opened. The light had gone. Your mother told me you've done this, you know, ridden your
Shaun,
bike.
just tell me what's going on.
Yep. And he'd be, I'm really disappointed. Sleep well, I'll see you in the morning. And then the door would shut. And you go, is that it? Surely this is, you know, no, because he was more about the life lesson rather than the yelling and screaming. And, geez, he was fantastic. And so was Mum. Look, Mum used to get a bit emotional, but she was dealing with it at the coalface when it all happens. You know, he had the pleasure of coming home and sort of, you know.
Also, there was the financial security that, you know, even though Dad's away, and that's how it was back then, it was fairly structured. It wasn't right or wrong. That was what they knew best at that time of life.
Absolutely.
But as a child growing up, it was really, I was in the same boat. You know, we had plenty of money around. There wasn't any issues about going down the corner to store to buy some lollies or go down the skate park or whatever it was. You know, we were taking on trips overseas. We had a pretty good life too. You know.
Oh, well, I'll never forget one story. He was a mad double blues man.
Sturt?
A big Sturt man.
Right.
He lived at Opie Avenue, which was 2 streets away, right? So he loved his double blues. But I was always a Norwood kid because we were at school and Norwood were our club and whatever. My old man took me to Sturt games for my whole childhood.
I'm a Sturt
Norwood
boy.
games. To Norwood games.
Big Robbo's a Sturt boy.
Yeah, well, he'd take me to Norwood games all my life because he wanted what I was happiest with.
I've been banging on about getting the baseball back to Norwood Oval.
Oh, jeez, I'd love it.
How good would that? Would that be a dream?
Do you know people that aren't into baseball? There you go.
They wouldn't get it.
They go, oh, Adelaide Giants. And the one thing they bloody say back to you, I used to love it when it was Norwood because I used to go down to Norwood. Now it's down to that other place. Do they even still play it? There's people that don't even know they still play it because it's down to this icon place down. Sorry, as a club president, you meant to support it. But I remember as a kid being down at Norwood Oval, she'd be chockers.
Man, big time.
There was that night when they played the final against Perth Heat in the grand final series. And there was people standing up in the aisles out near the street waiting for balls to come over. She was chockers. Tell me you get that down at West Beach at the moment.
No, the backdrop's too long. It's all...
I don't know.
You know, I'm not knocking the system down there. It's good for all sports down there.
Yeah,
it's a wonderful place.
Yeah.
A bit like Mount Gambier. That's a pretty good setup as well that they've got down there.
Yes.
With their park, you know, with their sports park. But it is a wonderful park that they've done down at West Beach. But we have rebuilt Adelaide Oval, haven't we? We have done it, and we've done it properly. How wonderful to have a baseball stadium again in Norwood, built in the red brick, period stuff. How wonderful would that be to see it in your lifetime, to see baseball go back there?
It would be incredible. And not only that, being a Kensington kid, we were down at Norwood Oval all the time. Because parents, it was only a short trip, so
Sure.
they were running down to Norwood Oval or whatever. So we were
Straight
always
down
there.
McGill Road, down the parade.
Yeah, we were always there. And we'd have dinner at the bloody pizza shop, and then you walk next door and watch baseball.
That's exactly what I'm saying. That's got everything there for it.
It was just incredible. And growing up having that, and then when they went to West Beach, I never understood that.
You imagine, and I'm going right off here, you imagine having a big red brick wall going all the way around the back as a proper built stadium, a bit like the one in San Francisco.
Yeah.
And you hear the...
You used to bloody walk up to the ground if you were running slightly late, and you'd hear the place going bananas. And the baseball music like you've just done now, the sound effects and the people going berserk. I'm not sure you get that at West Beach these days.
You can't. It's too far. Everything's too far away from the ground.
And when they said to us last year, they rang me up and they said, "Oh, look, this is the baseball league. We're thinking of putting on a big Northern derby down at West Beach. We were due to play at Northern Districts, you see, and in the A grade. We're thinking of having a big Northern derby. And we're going to play it down at West Beach." And I said, so just correct me if I'm wrong. You're wanting to play Golden Grove versus Northern Districts, which would have probably get 20 blokes and a dog anyway watching. And you're wanting to take the funding out of Northern Districts, so their canteen money in their bar, run us all down to West Beach, where you will have 3 people, or probably just
We're only allowed to have 1 beer each without getting picked up.
Oh, well, yeah, that's the other thing these days, isn't it? So yeah, they've got this obsession with trying to make baseball down there. And luckily, Dan O'Loughlin from Norse, we put on this fairly strong email going, no, we're not moving. So we ended up playing there. I wish we had now because we lost, but we should have bloody moved it down there. But they've just got to be better thinking in this regard, I reckon, because Norse and Golden Grove, like who the hell wants to see that at West Beach?
I'll draw you a picture this year of a future development at Norwood with a big red monster that'll run down the back end of the outfield there of a future game in Norwood. I'd love to do that. I've done a few drawings over the time and put them up the club. And
yeah, actually, I'd love to see that. The other thing that I'd say to you, do you remember they redid all the grass because of it? So Norwood Footy Club now has the ultimate grass, which they use for AFL, so that enables them to get AFL footy there. But back in the day, that was all resurfaced to be premium lawn for the baseball. Then the baseball league said, "No, we're going down to West Beach." How's that work?
Oh,
How's that work?
no.
But anyway, I don't know. Look, there's sometimes you shake your head, but it's I'd love to see baseball back there.
Wouldn't that be a dream? Wouldn't that be just closure for us?
Oh, and I'd love to see Dodgers done up.
I'd love to see in our time that the Golden Grove Baseball Club gets a facility that is, for the moment, for the time that we're in now, with the amount of people there, as gratitude back to the players, the people that have been involved there before and now, that you've got a cantilevered building that's got training facilities underneath it, an outdoor upstairs sort of looking out over the bottom diamond, and a cutout of the top diamond, and get that back a little bit further to give it a 2 stadiums there.
So I've been working on this.
That would be complete.
What no one sees, and this is what you were saying about no one sees the work that goes into
Sure.
it. So I've been working on this for 3 years, and our committee has too. Our committee's been awesome in the last few years in trying to work on this and get it right. But I've personally put so many hours into just getting this, and the Tea Tree Gully Council just hasn't come with us on the journey, and that's been really frustrating. But I think we're at a stage now where shortly we should be able to announce that the indoor facility's going in. So it should sort of look that it'll be 3 lanes, like an indoor cricket facility.
That's pretty cool.
So we'll get that. And what that'll mean is we'll go a little bit smaller than what was originally planned of 6 lanes because the council won't go to that. But we'll get our 3 lanes, but we get the latest in equipment. So all the ones that are going to help you throw it faster and spin it and swing better and all that sort of stuff. So it'll be pimp my shed out, essentially, is what we're going to try and
Do you
get
know,
to.
just in closing on that topic, what you're saying there, if you build that facility and you've got those boys working hard, boys and girls working hard on their batting,
Yep.
I've always said to all the players and people in baseball that I talk to,
Yep.
when you go to a certain club, there's some clubs you fear something,
Yeah.
right? You go to Glenelg, you fear their batting, right? What do you fear as you come to Golden Grove?
That's been the thing, right?
There isn't a fear.
Adrian Chanel was talking to me the other day, and he said, "You're probably the first presidents had the drive to win stuff, and win no matter what. Juniors, men's, you just want to win stuff." I said, "Well, otherwise, what are we trying to do?" I want people to come to Golden Grove and not say it's a lovely place and they're beautiful people and they make nice hot dogs and they may even do cafe lattes and oh my God, we had a great day.
They are good hot dogs up there.
We took every bloody point they had, pulled their pants down, but they're lovely people. I've got pretty much a competitive nature, and so I'm like, well, I don't want that. I want them to come there and think similar to Henley Grange, like you and I were saying.
Well, what do you get at Southern Districts? If you drive all the way to the Southern Districts, you know you're going to get a hard game.
You get called inbred for a start when you get down there.
I love it when the train starts up there.
Yeah.
It's got so much power to fucking move that thing along. But
and it's a long journey home when you lose.
Oh, it's a long time. Well, I think we had
You
3
get in
pisses on the way back from there one trip with feet with the Stingray.
Well, we caught the train down there one day from the city, but anyway, that's another story for another day. But that was great fun. But
in New York, the trains have toilets.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, in the underground.
Oh, right.
Each one has an American flag on each carriage, and it's got a toilet in there.
I'm not sure I'd like to go to the toilet with some of the people.
But you don't have to worry if you've had a few beers on 42nd Street. You can get onto the 85 tracks there and not have to worry about having to piss 50 minutes on it. It's not
I'm not sure trying to have a piss on the South train's a good idea, to be honest. But no, look, I go down to South, and a couple of years ago I got all sorts of names as I walk past because I'm president of the Northern Club, and that's all what it is. But I didn't enjoy the day down there at all. And I got back in my car and we'd lost and got back in my car and there's another 5.5 hour trip home or whatever. And so that's what I want for our mob. That's where I want Golden Grove to get to. We've got a bloody flash facility that's making all our kids and our women and everyone better. I'm not just talking about ones, our whole club better. And people come out to Golden Grove, oh shit, I've got to go out there today. Oh, bloody hell. I'm not sure that's going to be good fun.
Out to the northeast. Hey, mate, we're at 1 minute, 1 hour and 32. Looking at the future, I said to you earlier on today, is there something that you would like to see in your time to better you? It's a pretty open question.
Yeah, open question. And it's a bit of a, when you first asked me,
very open. It's very open.
I think I dribbled down my cheek like, I've got no idea. But
is there something?
I want to see a great life for my daughters, and that's where I'm wholeheartedly love those girls, awesome. And I want to see them happy and have a great life. Obviously, that's everyone's answer, but they're such wonderful humans that I want to see them have an awesome life. I keep asking about how much longer I've got. I'm 51 in November, so I don't know how much longer we've got. But I want to just see, and certainly the baseball club, I want to see us just be that one unit. I think it's powerful.
Wonderful.
It can be a powerful place.
Drop the barriers down and just operate as one.
We can be powerful. It's got to come together. And I'm not just talking, whole of club. I'm talking about individuals as well. Put your guns down. Everyone's there to make it a better place.
That's right.
Put your guns down. Let's just get on and bloody see where this thing can take us, because I think it's pretty exciting. So, yeah, that's my one thing with the club. But just in life, I'd like to live a couple more years. I'd love to get back and see the Yankees again, just one more time. But
Yes, I've got to go another 5 times yet. I won't be satisfied with one.
well, I've only seen them once because the whole time I was in Seattle and San Francisco, I only saw games there. So when the Yankees came to town, like Mattingly and whatever, you saw that at Seattle. So I'd want to go back to Yankees one more
Yeah,
time.
get out the Bronx there. Old Maz, he's a very big advocate for the Yankees. And
yeah.
But if you get the opportunity to get on the train out there and pull up at, I think it's stop 161, and you get out and you go, I'm home.
One thing I do, you would be, and
I'm home.
and I would be too. I really would be. And before I go, I'm going to take notes from you because you seem to know the absolute ins and outs of everything, and I think you would make it a wonderful experience. Perhaps we go together.
Sure.
Sure.
I'd never.
Sure.
I'd never say no.
Sure. But yeah, no, look, I just want a good life for my daughters, and hopefully got a few more years left on the earth. Probably a few around would like to see me have less than more, but that's okay as well. Yeah, but I'd just like to enjoy my final years and have a good time, and hopefully be something like my father. I know we keep coming back to that, but he was respected and liked, and really people loved him, and that's where I try to get to each day, is just trying to be like him, I guess.
Be the people's people. Shaun Evans.
Thank you, ASHMAN.
Thank you, mate. It's
That was
been
great. Didn't hurt at all.
Wonderful to have you. Pull your pants up now.
Yes, didn't hurt at all.
Thanks for coming, mate.
Thank you.
It's Sunday afternoon. The sun's out. We're going to have a few more beers out in the sun there. Thanks for all you do. It's at times a thankless task. You're a good man. Keep going forward, and I'll call the buzzer on this one, big man. And
thanks, mate.
we'll see you soon.
Been good fun. Cheers. Thanks, Ash.